Hi, my name is Lolly Bonaventura, and I'm currently a junior at the Miami Valley School taking Buddhism with our teacher, Mr. Squires. In our class, we've been studying Tantric Buddhism, but we've also been practicing it, which is really, really cool. In our class, we've sort of adapted to this 50-50 system, where 50% of the time we're learning and studying texts and reading and watching movies, but the other 50% of the time we're actually practicing and meditating. So I'm going to talk to you about my experience in the class, and first I'm going to talk about the meditation, and then I'm going to talk about what we've been reading and learning. So with the meditation has been really, really cool for me. My grandma, she's Hindi, and whenever I go and visit her or whenever she comes to town, she really holds on to her values and really loves to meditate and loves to pray. She prays for about 2 hours a day, and sometimes I would go upstairs with her or sit with her and meditate. But meditating with my grandma was always harder, mostly because I was younger, but also because it wasn't a guided meditation. It was sort of just sit in silence. And I think something that was hard for me was to just completely stop listening to my mind and sort of just be aware of my body, because a lot of times it's hard to put those thoughts away, especially when you're doing something that's new. But what we've been doing is we've been listening to these guided meditations from a mentor of my teacher. His name's Reggie Ray, and we've been listening to some of his podcasts, which have been really, really cool. We've done different things like earth breathing and prana breathing, and with the earth breathing, we've been just sort of feeling everything, and with the prana breathing, we've been doing these 12 breaths that really can relax you, and it's been really cool to sort of just become aware of my body and get out of my mind and stop thinking about the test that I have later or what I'm going to be eating for dinner or something just really non-valuable, and sort of just become aware of where I am, become seated where I am, be aware of my breathing, what I'm looking at, and everything like that. And it's been really, really a cool experience that I'd like to continue doing for a very long time. In addition to the meditation that we've been doing, we've also been reading from 2 different texts in our class, both by Reggie Ray. Our first text that we've been reading from is Secrets of the Vajra World, and the second book that we're reading from is The Indestructible Truth. And both of these books have been really, really eye-opening, and we're focusing more on the Red Book now. And we've been reading about the history of Buddhism and 3 different types of practices, Vajrayana, Mahayana, and Hinayana. And also we've been studying the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path and just different things like that. And it's been really cool to have this introduction, this basis for Buddhism, so that we can get deeper into these meditations and understand a little bit more, because I think it's really valuable in addition to the meditation that we've been doing. In addition to the texts, we've also been watching this movie, a documentary about Trungpa Rinpoche. And Trungpa Rinpoche just means teacher. He was a Buddhist monk, and he was from Tibet, and he was very highly recognized in Tibet, but he decided to move to both Europe and to England, I believe, as well as America, to come and teach these other people about Buddhism and all of its practices and what it's all about. Just something that I think is really, really honorable of him, because he was so highly revered in Tibet, and he could have stayed there and been part of a really amazing lineage and, get all this, amazing treatment from everyone over there. But he decided to go and come to America and go to England instead and just teach people and get out the word about Buddhism and just spread what he knows and what he believes to be true, which I think is incredible because, yeah. So we watched this movie, and this movie just really showed us that Trungpa Rinpoche was just very non-conventional, and he came to America, and he dressed in regular clothing. He didn't dress in, the robe, the silk, the gowns that usually you see monks dressed in. He drank, he smoked, he, had a sex life. He fell in love with a lovely lady and brought her to America, and he came to America and he decided to create this center in Vermont and also another one in Boulder, Colorado. And he was able to influence so many people. He In the movie, you get to see lots of interviews from different people who now are a lot older, but back in the day, I think it was in the 60s, in the 70s, were very young and influential and or able to be influenced. And they followed Trungpa Rinpoche and followed his practices and meditated with him and lived amongst him for a long time. And it's incredible to just see how impressionable they were and how much Trungpa Rinpoche just changed their lives. You watch these videos and you watch these little clips and you can see that they're crying when they think about him because he's passed away. Or you see them, laughing and telling a story, or just how, they've carried out their lives since they've met him. And I think it's just really cool to hear about someone who gave up what they had in Tibet and moved to a whole new country to teach and just spread the word about this not this organization, but this, these practices in Buddhism itself. And I'm so glad that we're watching this movie and reading Reggie Ray's texts, and that Mr. Squires, our teacher, has given us this opportunity to learn about something so new and different that I think I'm going to delve deeper in and keep practicing for a long time. So thank you.